Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am preparing for the upcoming Seed and Stroll Garden Tour and seeding class that we are hosting here in the greenhouse. One of the activities that I want to show everybody is how easy it is to do a container combination all from seed. So I thought that today I would show you how to plant one, and then I'll have the other one to be able to demonstrate to the class participants on Sunday. Now, I do want to say there's a couple of spots open, so for anybody that doesn't have a plan for Sunday afternoon, 1 to 4 p.m., check out the link in the description for more details. It's going to be a really great class. Stay tuned because I'm going to share with you more of what the class is going to cover. But first, let me fill up my containers with veggie mix from Soil Cube. All right, so for this demo, I'm actually using both of these pots. One that is already planted with a beautiful blueberry plant from Bushel and Berry, and it just has the back half open, and then my fresh pot filled with veggie mix. So let's start with the veggie mix pot. I am gonna, towards the back, create a small indentation, and I am gonna scatter the wheat seed as a clump, just like that. Ta-da. Now, on the sides, I am going to put in some sweet peas. And these are a really fragrant variety. And I likely will move these pots as we get closer to spring. But I'd like to have these here near the greenhouse entrance, so when they're blooming, you'll really be able to enjoy that scent. So they have been soaking in hot tap water for about an hour. And I'm just draining that water off, and I'm gonna put the seeds just with my fingers, basically thumbing them in, putting them into the soil about a ½ inch deep. And in each pot, I think I'm gonna do sort of a ring around the sides, because my plan for these is actually to put a tomato cage on it, for two reasons: to keep the deer from being able to eat the wheat, because they love wheat, and to be able to grow the sweet peas essentially on that as a trellis. So I have just thumbed in the seed around the edge. I have the wheat growing here in the middle. Let me give you an up-close view of how this looks. You can see the wheat seed there, and then right along the edge, you can see those sweet potato seeds. So now the process is really simple. You're just kind of covering everything up. You don't really need the wheat to be buried too deeply, but I do have a little soil here to be able to help cover that all up. Let's go ahead and give that a dump, just like that. Now, I'm gonna wait for all of this to germinate, and then if I have any openings, I'm gonna be able to transplant some of the broccoli that I sowed a couple of weeks ago. So as you can see, the broccoli that was sown on January 13th is germinating really well, and I'm aiming to get these transplanted into pots and into the garden in late February, early March. All right, the last step for this pot is really simple. It's just putting this tomato cage into the middle. And again, two reasons: keep the deer from eating the wheat, and something for the sweet peas to be able to grow onto, because they are of course climbers, and I want to be able to have them be able to have a structure without it being too invasive or permanent. So in this already potted planter, all I'm going to do is add another scoop of veggie mix just to the back of the pot, and I'm just going to kind of scoot that around. And I'm gonna basically do the same thing I did with the wheat seed, but this time with barley. So I really just want that to be the thriller element. It'll grow taller than the blueberries, and of course when it flowers, it's so spectacular. So I'm just gonna take a handful of wheat or of barley seed, scatter it around just like I did the wheat, and then go ahead and get it covered up. And that should germinate, since we have nice warm weather in the forecast, really in just a couple of days. And the real reason that I'm doing this is so that I remember to water these pots. I have been doing a really bad job of keeping up with watering, and if you're not aware, we are really, really dry in the Southeast. So you may not be watering as much as you need to for your poppies and things that are direct seeded in the ground. I think that's why I have slow germination. I have not been keeping things moist enough, and we are getting rain tonight, hopefully, though it doesn't sound like it's going to amount to much. So I need to be more conscientious about pulling the hose out and watering the beds that I've seeded. Now, speaking of pulling the hose out, in this class on Sunday, because it's a 3-hour class, we're gonna have cocktails and different beverages and tour the garden, but I really wanted to be able to show everybody some authentic things. So we're actually gonna make floating flower arrangements. So I've got my vessels ready. I do have some pretty colored glass in here. We're just gonna fill these up with water from the hose, and the participants are gonna walk the garden and pick foliage and flowers that inspire them so that they can make their own floating flower arrangements. So what else are we gonna do in our class on Sunday? All the participants are going to make a customized cool season vegetable tray to take home to grow. I've got a great assortment of seeds, and of course everybody's gonna learn a great technique for successful growing. But I also wanted to show you some updates to the greenhouse. I made some progress yesterday getting things painted and getting the new, quote, kitchen set up. So got that big table here as a buffet, which sometimes we serve food, sometimes we serve drinks, and sometimes we serve seeds. And then over here you can see that all the bathroom cabinets from the renovation of the Blue House are now painted and in place. So soon I'll be getting a nice granite countertop, a sink, and well, we'll really be moving in to the greenhouse to be able to have some great covered storage so things like plates will actually stay clean. Of course, all participants are gonna go home with hardy citrus to be able to grow at home. And I already have some that are planted for them to take as well. We've got lots of seed to be able to do demonstrations out in the garden, very specifically on sowing poppies and how to prep those beds. And then I also wanted to do some more container gardening demonstrations. So again, I'm gonna use pots that are already filled with soil. No reason to get rid of it. Just gonna refresh it and do a nice direct seeding. Same thing goes here for these apple pots. Even though I think that these mangave would come back from the root, I think they're too ugly and I'm tired of looking at them. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig out these mangaves, get these bed prepped, or get these pots prepped so that we can do another direct seeding demonstration here. Again, just to show how simple it is to take a pot that's already filled and recreate it for the new season. I absolutely love the behind the scenes prep for these classes. It really is making me kind of focus my energy and what I really want to be able to share. I'm also thrilled that we have a TV in the greenhouse now, so I can actually do PowerPoints, because that's the best way for me to fully be able to express all of the details with visual aid, and I don't get off on tangents. Now we are going to be doing some cool direct seeding in the garden. We're just going to demonstrate how simple it is when you have a bag of veggie mix on hand, and we're just going to fill up some wheelbarrows and get it put into place very specifically. I would like to make the bed that's here at the base of the deck, which has some daylilies. They do their job. They bloom once a year in June. Last year we had that completely filled with pots. And though my intention is to like bring down a big staircase in the middle, I don't think that's gonna happen this year. My projects are phased. So I think what we're gonna do is go ahead and layer this and make this a brand new poppy bed so that all the participants will really be able to see exactly how easy it is to convert existing open mulch space into a really dynamic flowering area for the spring. Well, everybody, I hope this sneak preview into our first Sip and Stroll seed class will provide you inspiration. Again, we have a couple slots left, so if you're local to the area, I have dropped the registration link in the description, and I hope that you'll plan to join us. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.